Bonsoir, mes amis. Welcome back to Monaco. Last time, we took the art world by storm. Today, we're going to storm the front gates of the palace. So, the pickpocket's telling us an interesting story here. Not only is the gentleman assuming the identity of David and his crew, the gentleman, or rather the pickpocket, is actually a Interpol asset. So, all of these stories he's telling are presumably from a privileged standpoint of information. This level's pretty neat. Probably, I would say, the most dangerous portion of it is this safe on the top right here. That one laser you have watching the safe is connected to the blast turret, is connected to alarm panels. Actually, I think that's a machine gun turret. Connected to that turret, the alarm panel right below it, and to the security doors. If you trip that alarm, a guard is going to come running. That civilian is definitely going to go running for another guard. You're going to get shot to pieces, and you're going to be locked in. On top of that, I'm not exactly sure if the time the security doors are down is enough to allow you to open the safe. You have to keep in mind, for a regular character opening the safe, I believe it takes 6 seconds. It doesn't sound like much time, but it's enough to ruin your day. As a matter of fact, before I ran into this, I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to tackle it. But then I see the wrench on the left, so now I think I know what I'm gonna do. Unlike before when we did this mission in the locksmith story, and I tried showing off some of the differences for enhanced mode, the crypt actually does exist in an enhanced mode for the pickpocket story. I'm not exactly sure why they took it out for the locksmith story, aside from the locksmith was designed to be easier on enhanced mode, but I'm glad to see it back. Possibly an alternate option for getting to that safe in the top right would be to bust this power box in the bottom left and run it from there. That's a little bit more difficult when you consider just how many guards are going to be between you and there, you know. There's no way of you guaranteeing that, one, you're not going to run into anybody on the way there. On top of, well, as guards walk through doors, they will relock the doors. So, this door up at the kitchen could easily be walked through by one of the guards or a civilian with a guard, and then you're not going to be getting in as easily.
Qui va là? Identifiez-vous. Je te tire le scélérat. Putain, j'étais sûr d'avoir entendu quelque chose.
So essentially my plan for the safe is I'm going to turn off the laser and then rush up to the safe and open it with the wrench. Normally turning off the laser would not give you enough time to open up the safe completely. In addition, this rotating laser right here will normally spot you if you're trying to open it the long way. I think it's somewhat of an elegant solution.
Huh? Stop.
Stop. Arrêtez-vous immédiatement.
And there is the hardest part of the level done. The only other thing to do is grab these last two pieces of gold in the trophy off of the folks in the meeting room, but that just requires a little bit more patience than anything else. In addition to stepping on cats.
Qui va là? Identifiez-vous immédiatement.
There's no real perfect way to do this aside from probably grabbing a smoke bomb and going from there. But the way it is works well enough. The reason I'd say grab a smoke bomb is because as soon as you pop it, you not only have the portion of invisibility, but it also instantly reduces the aggro of any guards that have already seen you, or any civilians that have already seen you. So that works out in your favor because then people aren't going to be as concerned about coming to shoot you in the face. Also, if anyone has any ideas on how exactly wrenching a bush works, I would love to hear them. You know, I understand the mechanics behind it. I'm just curious about, you know, what would that look like? How do you use a wrench on a bush?
Ça doit être un chat.
Then again, I'm not exactly sure how the thieves can hide on them without being spotted either, so maybe it's one of those mysteries of life. I really like this room, because it's pretty tricky to get around the security, but it's not impossible. You can see all the lasers are attached to something or other, whether it be a turret of some kind, maybe an alarm panel, maybe both. But by being a little bit tricky with, I'll say, abusing the laser's radius or their range of motion, you can easily duck in and open the safe without too many problems. The one problem being that both melee guards still have a way of seeing you.
Quoi?
But even so, I can manage to get by without setting off any alarms.
J'étais sûr d'avoir entendu quelque chose.
Which makes me feel really good. If I was to point out one thing in this mission that was probably the most deadly, more than likely it would be all of the machine gun turrets and everything else. You know, if you set up an alarm and a guard goes running, you know, you still have plenty of time to escape from the guard, you know. That's not necessarily going to be a, you know, he always has direct line of sight to you, there's no way to break his line of sight, he's always going to be on you. The guards are easy to get around. It's the security systems you have to worry about, because almost always they are guaranteed to do a lot of damage.
Je vais te tuer.
I kind of get creative on my wrenching here.
Identifiez-vous qui est vous n'avez rien à faire ici. Oh, et
You know, fixing the problems. But as I mentioned, you can easily deal with the guards. It's the security systems you have to worry about. It's always guaranteed damage. If I was to step on one of these floor panels, I'd be taking some hurt. If I was to set off the alarm on that safe in the upper right on the last floor,
qui va là?
I'd be locked in while a guard comes to shoot me in the face. The security systems are the most dangerous parts of these levels. The guards can usually be avoided.
Quoi? Qui est là? Pourtant, j'étais sûr d'avoir entendu quelque chose. Il y a quelqu'un? Oh, et puis... Tant pis.
I'm pretty sure I've mentioned now, but that cats in this game are jerks. Cats in this game are jerks.
Qui va là? Pourtant, j'étais sûr d'avoir entendu quelque chose.
And because cats in this game are jerks, it's why I'm so surprised that, this cat doesn't bring any guards running. You'll have to excuse me while I abuse my powers a little bit. Because seriously, cats are jerks. What I'm most interested by is that guard is more concerned about the cat noise than he is about hearing a shotgun go off. I guess guards just have different criteria for what they consider a problem and what's not. You know, it's part of their training.
Quoi? Qui est là? Tant pis.
I'm not exactly sure why the king and queen have these glass walls on their restrooms, but I don't know, you'd figure they would have attendants or something, and I don't know, I don't know, rich people have different problems. Something I'm pretty surprised about here, as you can see, all three of those civilians are going for different guards. That's okay. But I used a smoke bomb here, and even as far away as they are, they all lose their aggression on me. All 3 of the civilians come back to where they are. I didn't think the smoke bomb had that much range, but it kind of goes back into my thing of saying that smoke bomb is sort of absurdly powerful.
Je vais te tuer. Qui va là? J'étais sûr d'avoir entendu quelque chose.
With everything up here cleaned out, the last thing to do is to clear out the crypt, and we should be good.
Non, il y a quelqu'un. Identifiez-vous immédiatement. Quoi? Qui est là? Ouais. Bon, ça devait être un chat. Une petite partie de golf samedi prochain. Non. Qui va là?
Secours, garde!
Quoi? Non, qui est là? Pourtant,
Ne me
je
tuez
suis
pas.
sûr d'avoir entendu quelque chose.
I think I've mentioned before that the civilians' AI makes them huge jerks when it comes to calling guards on you. And this guy is a perfect example. You know, he goes to alert the first guard he runs into, which is, hey, you know, that's perfectly okay. Makes sense to me. As soon as I step out and he sees me again, he goes to grab another guard because he hasn't completely dropped his aggro yet. And then he sees me again and he's sending a third guard my way. The moral of the story is that civilians are jerks. And if you're not careful, they can very quickly ruin your day. As an additional note, if you're just starting this level out and you want to grab some items, the crypt is actually a pretty good place to start. If you sneak your way over here, you'll notice over in the super secret lair, you can get a disguise, a EMP, or a smoke bomb. The main problem being getting out of here with the disguise intact. Well, that's a little bit more complicated. Before I hit on my wrench plan, I'd always come here and try to grab either the smoke bomb or the EMP to get past that one safe, but things worked out well enough.
Sûr d'avoir entendu un bruit.
And so Monica's royal family is deposed. Please join me next time when we take on one last job.